Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
Happy month of May, folks, here on WrestleRant Radio. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, as always being joined by the man flying right from Disney World here to WrestleRant Radio, still drowning in Disney dollars. It is the one, the only, Mr. Marceau. Brother, what's going on? I am doing well. Legit, folks, right before we went live here, we were discussing not only his trip, but also the best Pixar movies of all time. I know it's not wrestling related, but for those in the chat, let us know what your picks are. Mr. Marceau, I don't know if I asked you. I know you were asking me what my favorite Pixar movies are. Just off the top of the dome, what are your top three? I didn't even make that connection. That makes so much sense. That's a goated top three right there. Listen, it's hard to go wrong with a lot of these movies. Honestly, Pixar usually does good to great movies, aside from Cars 2 and Good Dinosaur. We don't talk about those. But the rest of them are good to great to amazing. So not a bad top three. Monsters, Inc. will always be my number one, but I still love Finding Nemo, Incredibles. What was the other one? Oh, Bug's Life. Bug's Life is also my number two, if not my number one. I just watched that back on the way from Vegas. Give me 1 second here. Alexis actually just let me know that Mr. Marceau was muted. I apologize for that. Mr. Marceau, you were muted that entire time. I only heard your answer. What were your top three again? I'm sorry.
Top three, Cars 3, Toy Story 2, and Monsters, Inc.
There we go. Because listen, clearly my mind is still on vacation as well. I probably should have realized that. But we are back here in WrestleRant Radio with Mr. Marceau. He's back from Disney World. We have a lot to get into here today. Thanks to everyone joining in on the chat as we get going here. I saw Fernando in the chat earlier on, Johnny as well. He said, I acknowledge my tribal YouTuber, Graham GSM Matthews. Throw up the ones in the chat there. Acknowledge Mr. Marceau as well. He had mentioned Hangman and Will Ospreay are going to steal the show at Double or Nothing. Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher actually had a great match on Dynamite last night. That's going to be the finals in the Men's Owen Hart Cup coming up at Double or Nothing in a few weeks. It's going to be Hangman and Will Ospreay, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. Monet and Hayter, Johnny also mentioned. Maria, I saw in the chat. Maria, what's going on? Daniel also here saying, I still have flashbacks to when we went to Survivor Series 2021 in Brooklyn, and they were starting the chant at the Barclays Center. And also the 20-minute train ride that Mr. Marceau thought was 20 minutes from Connecticut to New York City. It was actually 2 hours. But the sleep that you got, or the lack thereof sleep that you got on that night, probably nothing compared to the 3.5 hours that you got the other day coming from Disney, coming back home to Massachusetts.
No, I think those 2 days that you're saying, the coming back from, I think the SummerSlam might have been worse. One of the worst days of my life, honestly, coming back. I was so fucking tired. It was, like you said, the 20 minutes, it was brutal. But no, even at Disney, it was like we would literally on like 3 hours of sleep, and it was brutal, but it's always worth it.
Oh, it's always worth it. That's the only way you can do Disney. Let's see here. Alexis also in the chat saying, hey, everyone. Daniel said, anyone ever mentioned that your intro sounds like the Johnny wrestling theme? Are you talking about Johnny Gargano? But to my knowledge, no, that does not sound familiar. Micah also joining us. He mentioned WWE doesn't just have a heel problem. They have a bloated roster problem. They keep the talking from other companies, keep taking people, rather, from other companies. We're going to see a massive release of talent soon. Guys like Omos, Candice LeRae, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Angel Garza, etc. Yeah. Toy Story for the win, Daniel said. That's his favorite. And Fernando also said Monsters, Inc. Can't go wrong with Monsters, Inc. Ahmed said earlier, sup Graham, just a daily reminder that Rock sucks. Loved her video on the whole situation. We did that. If you missed it last week, Mr. Marceau and I, specifically myself, went on a unhealthy rant, as Rock would say, on the show here last week, reviewing the Rock's damage control and whatnot. So go back and check that out from last week. I can't guarantee we'll have anything quite remotely as scathing this week here on the show, but we'll see. We'll see what we get into. I do have a lot to say about WWE's heel problem. That's in the headline of this video. I have a lot to ask Mr. Marceau on that front. And you did catch Raw this week, right, Mr. Marceau? You guys got back from Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, what have you, on Monday, and you watched Raw live or after the fact?
I watched the beginning in the line, the Toy Story Mania, paused it, got back to our hotel, and then watched the rest of it.
Damn. What a dedicated guy.
Commitment.
Dedicated guy. He's watching Raw on Netflix while he's on vacation. That is true dedication right there. And it was a good show, so we'll talk about that. Micah also said, I was watching the movie Dinosaur from Disney today. Does anyone remember that one? It's one of my favorites from my childhood. It's not Good Dinosaur. I think I know what you're talking about. It was that early dinosaur movie that came out in the early 2000s.
Land Before Time?
No, not that one. That one's not a Disney movie. It's not Pixar. It's a Disney movie, and it's about like dinosaurs and stuff like that. It takes place during the age of the dinosaurs. But Land Before Time is a classic, though. Those were never really my forte personally, but the Land Before Time movies, you talk about emotional, those movies are emotional.
Yeah, like I said, I just looked up here. I guess they were Universal. I thought they were Disney, but no, those movies are great.
Yeah, those are also good. A lot of dinosaur movies, so it's easy to get them confused. The one with long neck, the Outsider Jess said. The Outsider Jess, thank you for joining us as well. They had also mentioned WWE really bringing back the Authority repackaged. You talking about the Rollins stable? You're talking about Rock being involved? Or what are you talking about exactly there, Jess? But if you're talking about Rollins, we'll get into that group here in a moment. But shout out to the channel members as we get going here. Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Dylan the Giacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on the Instagram, Daniel Malcolm, who's here in the chat, at I'm Quarter on X, Mr. Marceau himself, at RJ_Marceau. Acknowledge him in the chat. John Ritland on the YouTube machine, Real Honesty with John Ritland, and Richie, of course, Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube as well. Jess did clarify, the Rollins stable. And damn, now I want to watch The Land Before Time again. I mean, listen, they're good movies. And Fernando also said Puff the Magic Dragon. I remember those movies. I remember Puff the Magic Dragon. I watched that when I was in kindergarten. And Micah also mentioned, it's called Dinosaur. It's a Disney movie. It's different from Good Dinosaur. I know what you're talking about, Micah. I remember that movie very vaguely from the early 2000s. But people get that confused with Good Dinosaur. A lot of dinosaur movies. Nonetheless, though, if you want to sign up for a WrestleRant All Access Pass, $5 a month gets you top billing on hashtag AskGSM and WrestleRant Radio for any topic, question you want us to address first. Shout-outs at the beginning and end of every single live stream that we do here, Discord access, badges, and emojis in the live chat, members-only live streams, early and ad-free access to certain videos, and so much more. So please consider signing up for that in the description box down below, or click the join button if you're watching on a PC. New episodes of WrestleRant Radio as well every single Thursday, right here on YouTube with myself and Mr. Marceau in video form. You can also check out the audio version in all your favorite podcast platforms, WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, that's where the show can be found. So check that out as well. Not a lot of major topics to talk about here today. We will not be doing a 2-hour show as we did last week. That was my fault for going in a massive Rock rant, but we'll see what we get into here today. I do primarily want to talk about Raw and just overall what I thought it was a good show, and specifically the WWE heel problem that I identified while watching the show, while watching on Monday night. Mr. Marceau, though, while you're watching in your hotel room in Orlando on Monday night, what were your overall thoughts and what we saw from Raw?
Yeah, I thought overall it was a solid show. Like you said, I thought they started off hot, obviously, with the Rollins, Breakker, Heyman, Sami start. We knew going into the end we'd get some kind of decision, obviously, with Sami. The Jey and Logan Paul, I mean, I know a ton of people complaining about it. I don't really know what you kind of expected. I mean, I think we all saw that coming, and we talked about it last week after Logan Paul won. It kind of made sense to have him face him. We don't know if it's at Backlash, but it makes sense. Trying to think of EO on the show with Roxanne, Rhea, Giulia. That was good stuff. War Raiders, I mean, they're there, I guess. They're still fighting. Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, overall, I thought it was a solid show. Like you said, I thought they started with a hot angle and they ended with that same kind of throwback. So, I mean, overall, I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk a whole lot about Raw last week, but I really thought they did a great job of resetting the deck, reshuffling the deck with some new faces, calling some people up, bringing back people like Rusev, Aleister Black's on SmackDown. I'll ask you about that in a little bit. Daniel did say, I acknowledge my tribal RJ, so again, throw up that one for Mr. Marceau. I acknowledge him as well. And like Jess said, don't forget to like the video. That would be much appreciated. But the big story from Monday night's Raw was the new Rollins group. They debuted last week with Bron Breakker joining the ranks of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. This week, we got some progression on the front where Rollins wanted Sami Zayn to join them, which honestly wasn't completely out of the question after Sami Zayn was involved in the same segment last week as Jey and Jimmy Uso. Looked like he was about to turn on him, too. I was very nervous while watching that segment last week. Thankfully, that did not happen. Sami Zayn ultimately turning down Rollins, Heyman, and Breakker at the end of Raw this week. We got an impromptu match between Zayn and Bron Breakker in the main event of Raw. Bron Breakker winning decisively, winning by referee stoppage. Lays out Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins also lays out Sami Zayn to close out the show, does Rollins, and the heels stand tall. So before we get into the heel problem that I kind of noticed while watching the show, which we'll get into, just want to get your overall thoughts on this new group as far as Sami Zayn now becoming enemy number one for Rollins and Breakker and Heyman. I think this is a great way to kind of carry over the momentum from WrestleMania and give Rollins something to do coming out of that show.
No, I think this group, like you said, I think it's got legs, and I think it's going to be good. And I think what we saw on Raw was kind of like you said, like they're going to not be in the title picture right now. Clearly, him and Sami will do whatever they do, or maybe they build that to the future. But right now, I mean, Rollins is the guy on Raw, even though Jey is the champion. I think this group is clearly the top billing, and I thought what they did was good here, and I think they're going to do good stuff. And nothing else to say besides that, I think.
Well, I know we were talking last week as far as, I think we talked about it, like who else could they add to the group? It is worth mentioning, I think Fightful reported this week that they're actually not expected to add any more people right now, at least as of WrestleMania week. That was the talk. I think there's a few different people that would make sense, Becky Lynch being one of them. We'll get to her a little bit later on. There's some questions in the chat about her. Nathaniel had a question for you about Becky. We'll get to that in a moment. I will read the chat once we're done talking about this certain subject. But yeah, do you think this could exist on its own? Do you think they need more members right now, or can this succeed on its own without adding any more people for the foreseeable future?
I think for now you can just have the three of them with Heyman and Breakker. I think if it ever gets tough and like Seth has the belt and it seems like someone takes out Breakker and he's about to lose the belt, and then you can introduce someone else to kind of like keep it with them. So, I mean, I think for now it's good to have them, the two. If you have all the members out there right now, it's like there's no surprise, there's no glitz and glam. At least there's like the tease of potentially adding someone, then I mean that's great. It's kind of like with the Bloodline, like they could have added Solar on at first, but they didn't, and then like he came out and helped them, and you kind of need to keep adding as you go. If you have them all out there, it's like who cares at this point?
Yeah, I think it's something that we'll see kind of develop over time. I don't really think they need to add any more people right now. I think as it's currently stands, I think it works in this current incarnation, and I think they have a lot of potential if they can obviously go in the right direction as far as actually going for heat and not for cheers, which was my big takeaway from that show on Monday night. And I think the group itself has potential. I think we mentioned this last week as well, but is the obvious end game here Rollins being the one to beat Jey Uso for that World Heavyweight Championship? And how soon do you think that happens?
Yeah, I would say it's him versus Jey. I mean, Jay's going to lose the belt to Seth. I mean, if it's anyone else, I'd be extremely surprised. But at this point, I would have him hold the belt till, I mean, it just kind of depends. I think I would say Money in the Bank the shortest, SummerSlam the longest. But I assume Rollins will have the belt majority of the summer.
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, people were saying, oh, SummerSlam. That would be great. But honestly, they can't get into the habit of changing the top titles for every big pay-per-view. Like only at Mania and only at SummerSlam. Sometimes you need to change it, not necessarily on Raw or a SmackDown, but like some other B-level pay-per-views, Money in the Bank, which is a big five, but it's not SummerSlam. So if you do Rollins and Jey on that show, totally fine by me. They did not announce Rollins and Sami for Backlash, which honestly, one, they still could. The pay-per-view's next weekend. But two, I think it would be fine if they held off on that for Money in the Bank to kind of give it more time. Literally, the feud just started 3 days ago. They can rush into it if they want to, but if they want a smaller card and only 5 to 6 matches, there's other matches that you can announce for the card before that one and just save that for another time. But my big question for you, Mr. Marceau, and what I kind of want to talk about on the show here today, WWE having a heel problem. Now, I'm not going to like overgeneralize and say that it's everyone on every brand, Raw and SmackDown, every heel has an issue, but just as far as like the top heels on the show. Like Rollins was out there when the show started. He still has the same theme song, which it could take time to give him new music, to be fair. It might not be until a little bit later down the road. But not even the music issue. Like, he was out there doing, I'm a visionary. I'm Seth freaking Rollins. And then people were still singing the whoa. Like, Sami Zayn's getting the fucking shit kicked out of him on Monday night. And the crowd is chanting one more time. And they're doing, like, the Rollins singing and the dancing and whatever. I mean, I thought it was very disappointing. Again, the lack of new music, I can understand to a certain extent. That stuff might take time. But he was out there acting like a babyface. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Were you on the same page there, or did you feel like that was also an issue that, like, if he's supposed to be now the top heel on Raw, why the fuck is he going for babyface cheers by playing into what he's been doing for the last 3 years as the visionary, which it's time to move on from anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I was kind of hoping that once he turned heel, we'd kind of get more serious. Rollins obviously still doing the freaking stuff, and he has the weird outfits and actually doing the woes.
Yeah.
But I mean, the problem is realistically, the fans, like, Sammy's probably one of the most sympathetic babyfaces they have. And like you said, they're cheering Rollins like one more time. It's not like he's some job guy that they're like last week in Rusev's killing Alpha Academy. It's like, who gives a shit? Beat him up again. It's Sami Zayn. Like, he's like the biggest babyface in the company, like underdog, sympathetic guy, and the crowd just they didn't give a shit and wanted him to get killed again. So
yeah,
I mean, it is a little bit of, I would say it's like a little bit of both. Obviously, they're not helping with him feeding into the crowd and keeping the music and doing the whole. They said, I'm a revolutionary, visionary, whatever. But at the end of the day, the fans are going to cheer. Like I said, if they're cheering him over Sami Zayn, they're going to cheer him over pretty much any babyface, probably.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just the mannerisms to me. I feel like they would have booed that attack. Bron Breakker is just cool, so I can understand why they cheer Breakker. I get that. But when Rollins is out there doing the same song, like the whole thing with him turning heel that I was excited about was that it was something different. Like, oh, he's going to be a heel again for the first time in a few years. He was a great heel back in 2014, 2015. He was a great heel back in 2019, 2020. Why is he still doing the dumb visionary stuff and doing the song? The song got old like 2 years ago when the crowd overdid the whole singing shit. It's fun to do, but when they do it all the time and Rollins is just sitting there eating it up, it got fucking annoying years ago. So to me, he's been a heel for a while. But like on the show, he's only been a heel for a week and a half, and he's not acting like the heel that he should be. But honestly, it also applies to John Cena as well. This goes to the top heels on your supposed biggest brands. John Cena's out there cutting these phony-ass, cartoonish promos about like, oh, he's like yelling, and we've talked about John Cena before, how this heel run has kind of left a little bit to be desired. With the promo specifically, they're a problem. He goes for heat there, but then he comes out with the same fucking attire, the same song and dance, the same entrance music, and he acts different, like he's not playing to the crowd like Rollins is. But my issue, and this is what I was kind of trying to get at the time when Cena did not come out with new music, like longtime fans, casual fans especially, love John Cena. And they love to sing the fucking music, that da-da-da-da, and all that other nonsense. But like, if he's a heel and he still has the same song, they're going to cheer him like a babyface. So that's why Cody Rhodes is out there getting booed and stuff. I'm not saying that's the entire reason, but I don't think it helps when you give people, whether it be Rollins with the song or even Cena with his song, you're giving fans a reason to cheer for these people when in reality, like Cody getting booed doesn't make sense to me at this point. People might be sick of him, but the amount of people that were booing him in Vegas really surprised me. So do you think that's part of the problem, or is this more to this than I'm not thinking of?
I mean, I think half of the problem is the fans. I mean, like you said, I feel like they cheer the heels anyways, and I feel like now more than ever, like it's even like the Bloodline. When the Bloodline was super heel, everyone still cheered them, even though like they're the biggest heels in the company. I think it's one of those things like obviously I like Rollins and he is a heel, but I'd probably cheer him, but I wouldn't probably boo him, even though he's supposed to be a heel. Like I like Rollins, so like I don't know. And like you said with Cena, the same thing. Like he's clearly dressed, but like if we went to like heel music, depending on what it is, people might still cheer him regardless.
Maybe.
I think it really comes down to the fans. I mean, like I said, if you're beating up Sami Zayn, the fans are chanting one more time, I don't really know what else you can do.
What do you think that's an indictment on, though? Because Triple H has been in charge now for 2-3 years, and for the most part, anyone that he's wanted them to boo or anyone that he's wanted them to cheer, they've gone along with. Because for the most part, it's made sense. Like, Cody's been the biggest babyface. They've cheered Cody. Like, Roman, yeah, he does get cheered a lot, but if he's in there as the top heel, Cody wasn't getting booed when he was facing Roman Reigns, but he got booed when he faced John Cena. So do you think something changed with the creative process there?
I don't know. I think, like, if anything, I feel like now more than a while, they've had, like, really, I guess, like, you would categorize it as, like, cool heels.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, Breaker's cool. Like, he's a badass. Like, not to, like, use his moniker that they say, but, like, he's cool. Like, he looks cool. And, like, Rollins is cool. And then you have Heyman. So people love Heyman because he's, like, very nostalgic. So people love Heyman. And it's, like, no different than, like, the Judgment Day. Like, they're heels, but people love Liv because she's attractive. And, like, people like booing Dominic. And then you have Finn in there who's been there along, like, people like Finn Balor. So, like, they get cheered. And then, like you said, the Bloodline, they all get cheered. And then, like, when Tiffany Stratton was a heel, people were cheering because she's good looking. Like, it's no different. Okay, perfect example. Becky turned on Lyra last week. They're cheering one more time as she's slamming her through the fucking mat. I mean, she's cool. Like, it's one of those things I feel like they have too many, like, cool heels that, like, people, like I said, I guarantee if he was beating the fucking shit out of Jey Uso, they would cheer him. And he's the most over babyface in the company.
They would cheer Jey or they would cheer Seth?
They would cheer Seth. They would say one more time, stomp his head through the fucking mat.
Okay. It's more of a reflection on Rollins, you're saying, not the fact that these baby faces aren't over.
I just think it's more the fact that the fans are cheering the cool heels.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. I mean, that's kind of a shift in are we going through 96 again where it was like NWO type shit where they were cheering all the heels and booing all the baby faces? That could be part of the problem, right?
I mean, I think they do have over baby faces, but, like, when you have these newer, cooler heel groups, I feel like people gravitate to that more than like you said, like with Cody, it's like it's a little bit different because it's like Cena heel turn. I mean, before Cena, it wasn't like he was really getting booed, but like Cena, obviously nostalgia. Last year, he turned heel. Okay.
Yeah.
Lyra, like, hasn't really got her feet. She's starting to get her footing, but it's like Becky just came back. She's the established star. Turn heel. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think they have a babyface problem because I think they have a lot of over baby faces. I just think the heels are newer and fresher, so people are gravitating to them more.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's not a babyface issue. It's definitely a heel issue. And I just don't understand the mindset of having Rollins go out there and act the exact same. Now, I'm not saying do a complete 180 to act like what he was, acting differently than how he was even a week ago. That would be a bit abrupt. I understand that. But I'm just saying, as far as like him feeding into the crowd, saying the same old like lines that he's been doing for years now, that encourages the crowd to cheer along. There's grades of the shades of gray bullshit I don't like. I just don't think that makes sense. With certain people, it does. Like, I think Reigns is an asshole, but people cheer him as a babyface because they fucking love Roman Reigns. Like, that one I can understand. But if Rollins is supposed to be this heel, and he obviously, why he turned heel, it made sense because he thinks Punk's a bad person. He thinks Roman's a bad person. All of that makes sense. But at the same time, if he's shitting on the audience because he's like unhappy that, they're siding with people like Punk and Roman, why wouldn't he be more mad at the fans? And Cena's doing that in his promos, but his promos are like, I'm mad, I'm breaking up with you. Like, that shit still hasn't landed for me at all. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just something they got to work on. But I will say, to your point, though, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Becky and Lyra, like you talk about cool heels, people will cheer Becky because she's fucking awesome, obviously. But I thought she did a good job. Like, I say that WWE has a heel issue, but I thought Becky did an excellent job of getting booed on Monday night. With her mic work and shitting on the fans and shitting on Lyra, I thought she did a great job of that. She wasn't out there saying, oh, the man has come around, like I'm back, and fuck Lyra, and everyone started cheering. I thought she did as good of a job as anyone, honestly, of trying to get booed on Monday night. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, I assume they probably rehearsed. They were probably rehearsed their back and forth because I think their back and forth was like as perfect as you get someone. What Becky was saying to Lyra was the perfect response to get Lyra to get cheered because her responses were better than Becky's.
Yeah.
Like when she was like, oh, like the man's going to beat you. And she's like, oh, I'm already beating you. Like, I'll beat you again because Lyra already beat her. And then she was like, I don't want to be Becky Lynch anymore. I want to be Lyra. Like the responses, Becky like literally laid her up to then shit on Becky and the crowd got behind her. Like it was perfect back and forth, but it was more to give Lyra like the babyface reaction. And she like just like this shit was like literally laid up to her. And Lyra, I mean, I thought it came off really well, and I thought, I mean, Becky did a good job. So
yeah, I thought they had a great exchange. I thought both of them played their roles really well. I thought Becky was great. I thought Lyra was really good. Easily the best promo I've ever heard Lyra cut in her entire life. And I thought they set up the match for the pay-per-view perfectly. And it obviously leads to the question, well, is Becky Balea going over the pay-per-view sister? I guess that's the question, which we will get into. There's a lot of chats I'll get to here in a moment, but the first one I will mention because we're on the subject. Nathaniel said, hey, RJ, do you think Becky will have a long run as Intercontinental Champion? That's assuming that she's winning. But I mean, first of all, do you think she's winning? And second of all, do you think that she'll have a long run as champion?
I think Balea's going over. I mean,
that picture you sent me was great, by the way.
I gotta go with the Becky Balea. It gets me every time. I laugh every time thinking about it. But no, I think she'll win. And I think eventually, I mean, it might not even be the IC title, but like the next time they face off, I think she'll put Lyra over. Clearly, they have some connection. Clearly, she likes Lyra, like personally. Like we know there's a connection. They're both from Ireland.
Yeah.
She put her over in the press conference before, how she sees her as like a future star. I mean, I would highly be unlikely that she wouldn't eventually put her over again. So I think she wins here, put Lyra back in chase. And next time they face off, regardless, I think Lyra goes over. But I think you put the belt on Becky, Balea, and then, like I said, Lyra chases. But there she is. There's Becky Balea right there, people. But no, I think Becky wins. And then, like I said, eventually down the line, she'll put Lyra over in a bigger moment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know we were texting and you're like, well, Becky wins, LOL. And I'm thinking, like, listen, I'm not advocating for Becky to win. I think it's a win-win. Going off of what you just said. If Becky wins, Lyra can beat her down the road, ideally, hopefully, and she doesn't just take the title and they finish the feud and they move on from it like they did with Charlotte and Rhea. And I know Charlotte ended up losing to Rhea, but that was like 3 years later, like literally. But if Lyra wins, another big win for her. So honestly, I like this a lot. I like the segment. I'm looking forward to that match. I don't think Becky has to hold the belt long. She was NXT Women's Champion for fucking 6 weeks, dude. 6 weeks. But she had a great run as NXT Champion. She defended it consistently, had good competition. So I think this can be effective. But yeah, going through the chat here real quick. Ahmed mentioned some good movies for me to watch this year, Karate Kid and Lilo and Stitch. I'm not going to see Karate Kid, but Lilo and Stitch, I'm fucking there. I am seated, Mr. Marceau. You're going to watch it opening weekend too, I would imagine?
Yep.
That movie's going to be good. I'm loving the trailers. Even if it's garbage, I will be there to watch it. Fernando said, do you think the fans are sick of Sami? I don't think so. It's not like they're booing Sami. He got a great reaction. It's just that the heels aren't going for heat, specifically Seth Rollins. And I hope that's a 1 week thing and they fix that going forward. This idea like, oh, he could be a tweener and it's okay. Like, no, he's got to be like the heel on the show. The tweener works for some people. It won't work when you're working with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, because what you want Rollins to be cheered when he beats Jey Uso for the championship. You don't want that to be the case. If it happens, cool, organically. But you don't want that to intentionally be the case. I feel like that would be dumb. But Outsider Jess had mentioned they keep rushing Logan Paul. Don't give him a belt. Keep building him up as a wrestler if we actually have to see him constantly. I don't think he's winning the World Heavyweight Championship, so I don't think he's winning the belt. I think this is a fine spot for Logan Paul to be in. I know that's a hard pill for some people to swallow, and I'm not saying, oh, Logan Paul, next world champion. We'll get into that, but I honestly, like RJ said earlier, I think that's a perfectly fine direction to go in personally, as far as why I think it makes sense. They also said, why not put Logan in a faction with Theory and Waller? All three of them have the same character. They actually did. They were in the same, it wasn't like a faction, but they were aligned before Mania last year. And then Logan Paul, like, dumped them because they're fucking losers and they're still teasing tension after 10 years. But they were aligned on TV at one point. And they also brought up how every time they build a heel faction, they just throw Sami or Owens at them. I mean, they're reliable. I mean, it just makes sense. That's why they do that. 3 to 6 months as IC champion, Justin mentioned. I don't know about that. That seems a little too long. As long as Lyra beats her in the end, that's really what matters. We could be eating crow here, like, oh yeah, put the belt on Becky, and then Lyra just disappears from the show, and that would be dumb. So hopefully not. But Micah did ask, what do you think of Ilya Dragunov joining Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker and Heyman? Would that be a good pick? I'll throw it to you, Mr. Marceau. Is that a good fit or not? I kind of like that. I'm not saying they should do that, but I kind of like it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't hate it.
Fernando also said Trick should be the third man.
I think Ilya's better than I
Yeah.
like Ilya better than.
Yeah, Trick is also teasing a heel turn right now, but I don't know. I just feel like it would make more sense to have Ilya back on his own. Anyway, Daniel had mentioned shocked that Roman and Punk weren't on the show. I don't think they're going to be around right now anyway. The report was that Roman might not be back until like around or after Money in the Bank. Punk, I don't know what his status is, but if they're going to focus on Rollins and Sami, then they might not go in that direction right now anyway. Fernando said Braun will eventually leave the faction, become the top babyface, and beat Seth for the world title at Mania. This is another thing I want to ask you about. There's been a lot of discourse this week. I think it might have been Sean Ross Sapp. Someone had said on Twitter, like, oh, Braun and Rollins is the match for Mania, probably for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then other people vehemently disagreed and said, that's too soon. They just joined forces. And I agree with, honestly, what other people have said on this. Not just because the Bloodline was a 5-year story, not everything has to be a fucking 5-year build. I don't think it's too soon at all. If it was next month, then sure. But next year's Mania, I don't think it's too soon at all to be building to Rollins and Breakker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Do you agree?
I think that Mania is a perfect build. Like I said, not everything has to be five years down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, I think obviously you could honestly build it to Seth versus Sami. I know people have been saying that too, and like do him and Sami at Mania. But I mean, I don't think like how long do they need to be together? I think with Breakker, he's kind of already the guy, so it's like I feel like you don't have to wait that long.
No, I don't think you really need to wait that long. Honestly, he could be world champion this year and it wouldn't feel that soon. But by next year's Mania, I feel like that makes perfect sense. We don't need to be building the Mania 50 for Rollins and Breakker to have a match, only for Rock to come in and pivot and win the championship instead. I'm going to try not to mention Dwayne here on the show. I don't want to, raise my blood pressure. But Fernando had said Cena needs to take out R-Truth and get real heel heat. Yeah, that kind of surprised me. On SmackDown last week, Cena was on the show. He interacted with Truth backstage, and Truth said something dumb about him being his childhood hero or whatever, and Cena just left him be and walked off. I'm thinking, maybe they're building to it, but I'm thinking, why the fuck wouldn't he just destroy him right then and there? Maybe they're, again, building to it, but that kind of surprised me. Noob said, hello, Graham and RJ. Noob, what's going on? Thank you for joining us, as always. And Grunt had become a member of the All Access Pass. Welcome to the membership, Mr. Grunt. We appreciate it. Also throwing a CM Punk, it's clobbering time GIF in the chat. Grunt, welcome to the All Access Pass, along with everyone else, including Mr. Marceau. There you see there on his screen, of course. Newman mentioned a lot of heels gets cheered. Another prime example that the Kabuki Warriors were getting cheered instead of booed. Are we talking 2019, 2020 here? That's certainly not recently. I know he's a big Asuka fan and whatnot, but that's not exactly a recent example, but that might have been from a while ago. Daniel said a bunch of folks have turned heel as well, so I think it's fresh. Yeah, I mean, going to your point, I think it's a case of like a lot of these people have turned recently, so it's more of like it might be more of a problem in a couple of weeks or a month, right? Give it more time.
Yeah, I think you got to give it more time. Like I said, I think the people that they turn heel are all big, popular baby faces, so I think it's going to be a transition.
Yeah, hopefully it's a transitional period. Dylan is here as well. Channel member Dylan joining in the chat. He said, how's it going, boys? Sorry, have not been in the stream for a bit. He's got a few thoughts, he says, since he last popped in his stream. Fuck The Rock, and I think the fans are the problem why the top heels are getting cheered. And then I said, no lies detected, Dylan. Fuck The Rock, and I think the fans are part of the problem.
Watch your mouth on Dwayne.
They're two different people. I'm not talking about Dwayne. I'm talking about The Rock. That's what he said. The
final boss? The final boss, okay.
Final boss, Rock, and then Dwayne. Three different people.
Okay.
Can't get that confused. Come on. Fernando said, too many baby faces have been around for a while. Need to push younger talent to top babyface status. Yeah, I mean, Jey and Sami, and, those are all people that have been around for the last 10, 15 years, so I do agree with that to an extent. Breakker, I think, could be that guy, though. I think they're going to turn him, and he's going to be the big babyface probably in a year or so. Dylan also brought up case in point, the crowd will cheer Becky, Rollins, and Cena, but boo Cody and Bianca. Bianca, that still doesn't make sense to me. Bianca should be a heel, but she did nothing wrong. They're booing Bianca for saying what, the truth? That doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's because people want Bianca to become a heel, so they're just going to boo her into existence.
they're gonna will it into existence by continuing.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to manifest it by just booing the shit out of her constantly.
JC Dep 555, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining. He said, I don't know why, but WWE just books heels to be way cooler than faces, and it's been a problem for 20 years at this point. I agree and I disagree. That is the case, but honestly, this is probably the least case of that than ever before. I mean, Jey is not not cool. Like, Jey is so fucking over, and Cody Rhodes, he was booed over Mania weekend, but he was also extremely loved. They love Roman, they love Punk, so I don't know if that's exactly the case right now.
Yeah, I think they have a ton of over baby faces. You said that, like Io is over for the women. Same with Tiffany. Trying to think what else you could say. I mean, I think you could say either way. I mean, I think there's a good amount of over baby faces as well.
Yeah, they have an embarrassment of riches right now when it comes to the baby faces. Fernando saying the fans will for sure boo Becky when Bayley returns for revenge. Yeah, Becky also said that on Raw this week. She was the one who attacked Bayley, so that's a incoming programming. And I know we've seen it before, but not with the rules reversed. So hopefully Becky gets booed and Bayley doesn't come back and get booed over Becky. And I know Mr. Marceau doesn't care, but Bayley deserves more respect as the four horsewomen.
Plus Bayley, who cares? Just for
He's getting me heated over here. Before I get to Alexis's comment, and I know you died at, but Johnny said, should Braun win Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble? I don't think he needs to win either. Maybe the Rumble. He doesn't need to win Money in the Bank. I think it's too soon for that.
Someone win the Chamber.
Okay, to set up him and Rollins and Mania, I could see that. The Rumble would also work, though. But Alexis did mention they are the Lyra Balea connection. Not a bad faction name.
I like it.
Becky Balea, is she going to beat Lyra in 3 minutes and say, having a competitive match doesn't work for me, sister? That picture you sent me was amazing. And Daniel, you were the one that got that over. He said, I'm so proud of myself for getting that over. That was Daniel's doing. He mentioned Becky Balea last week. Mr. Marceau doesn't want to admit, I mean, he is admitting it's a great name. You don't want to admit it's true because it's not, but it is a pretty great fucking name. It's not true,
but I love the name.
Where did you find that picture? I was trying to find that picture and I couldn't find it.
I literally just typed in it on Twitter and it popped up. It was like the second thing I saw and I just died laughing.
Becky Balea?
Becky Balea.
Oh my God. Anyway, so also from Raw on Monday night, speaking of the women, we had Rhea Ripley taking on Roxanne Perez in a pretty fresh matchup. They had a match in NXT a few years ago, running it back on Raw. Another very good match from these two. Another DQ finish. Io Sky and Stephanie ended in a DQ last week, as did this. Are Perez and Giulia officially on the main roster, Mr. Marceau? I know they were on NXT on Tuesday night as well. Are they officially red brand bound?
I would say so. I mean, we saw Roxanne and Rhea here. Like you said, another great match. Kind of upset they got another DQ, but hey, you don't want to give away the finish. So, I mean, last week was great with Stephanie and Io. This week was great with Rhea and Roxanne. So I thought both those matches are good. I'm kind of glad they ended in DQ because I don't think the younger girl should be losing so quickly. But we had Giulia come in here, Io with the save. Seemingly probably going to get a tag team match. We'll see. But I mean, it seems like they're on the main roster. It seems like reports that Roxanne and Giulia are going up to the main roster. So I like it. I like both of them a lot. And yeah.
They got a deep-ass division right now. I mean, it is crazy. Giulia, Roxanne, Rhea, Io is still in the mix, obviously, as well. Stephanie was on the show, too. Do you think Stephanie's kind of pulling double duty right now? Or, as I've seen other people speculate, do you think she's just on the show right now just because they might be building to Evolution 2 and they want her to get more exposure before she shows up on that show defending her NXT Women's Championship?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I mean, would you call up Stephanie, Giulia, and Roxanne all the Raw at the same time? I would go 2, maybe not Stephanie as well, at least not right now.
I would still have Stephanie on NXT, but I think putting her on Raw now, showcasing what she can do. And like I said, even if it's just through Evolution, she's still there, but at least it gives people familiarity with who she is, and she's really great. So I think just getting people familiar with her now for the eventual call up, it can't hurt. So I think what they're doing with has been great, and I like seeing her on Raw.
I agree. I think Stephanie's great. They were building at some point, hopefully, to it might be Roxanne and Io first. I'm still thinking it's going to be Io and Rhea because Rhea was not pinned in the triple threat at WrestleMania. I still think that's where we're headed. But Io and Giulia, they interacted in that tag team match in NXT. We still have that to look forward to at some point. Like, there's at least 5 or 6 different match combinations you can get out of these 4 or 5 women alone that could carry Raw for the next year plus. I mean, seriously, this is the Raw Women's Division. I'm sorry that Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and PFC aren't getting TV time right now, but these women are really, like, carrying this division as far as match quality and whatnot.
No, it's been great. I think the last 2 weeks we've seen it, and it's been really good. And like you said, I think the possibilities are endless. I mean, I still think, now that Io and Roxanne and Giulia have kind of set their sights on Io. I think we'll probably get a tag match. Like I said, it could lead to Io and Rhea 1-on-1, but I think a tag team match. I will say, I kind of think it was dumb that they then did Io and Grace versus Roxanne and Giulia because they just beat them on NXT. I don't know why you just burned through that so quickly, but maybe that's, like I said, maybe they don't go with that. Maybe they do go the Io or Rhea route first. They get involved, then we get a tag team match to kind of like wash away the stench that they already lost to Io. But no, I got no issues with it at all.
Yeah, no, me either. And that's not to mention that what we already discussed. Becky and Lyra kind of feuding right now in the women's mid-card for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. That division is excelling right now. So I'm looking forward to the future of the women's division on Monday nights for sure. There is one woman that will not be a part of Raw for the foreseeable future, though. She retained the NXT, or rather the WWE Women's Tag Team titles last Tuesday on NXT. We saw her in Raw this week. She's going away for a little bit. That being Liv Morgan. She got cast in a movie. And there was all this talk, it's going to be like career-changing if it does well, and she'll end up in Hollywood. I don't know how well Liv Morgan's acting skills are going to be or how big this movie's going to be. I saw that it was announced it's a movie called Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. I saw the premise of it. It sounds like it could be a good film. I don't know if it's going to expected to do well internationally or a massive movie here in the States. I'm not exactly sure. But Liv Morgan, her stock continues to rise, and I think it's worth mentioning how great Liv Morgan has been for this women's division in the last year between her Women's World Championship run, now being Tag Team Champion, getting a match at Mania. She had a great showing in the Rumble and on Chamber. I mean, she continues to kill it, and she's like almost 10 years into her main roster run. This is the same woman, by the way, that was on NXT a decade ago. I personally couldn't have given two shits about Liv Morgan. Liv the Daddy-O or whatever her name was.
Yo.
Oh
Come
my
on,
God, yeah,
I love her all day.
Dun, 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 dun. And now she's out there, and she's one of the MVPs of the Raw roster. So she will be missed, but I think it's worth mentioning how great Liv Morgan has been in her career trajectory in the last year.
No, she's been great. And like I said, I'm surprised if she's taking time off. They're still champions. We'll see. I mean, not like there's really a division to defend the champions anyways.
Seriously.
No, I mean, she's been great. Raquel, maybe she can go learn a new hold in NXT or something. I don't know. If you want to be 100% honest, I think she's been terrible as a heel since she's came back. But Liv's been great. I think, like I said, go do movies. I highly doubt she's going to become the next Angelina Jolie. But maybe she'll shock us. But good for her. But I think, like you said, the last 3 to 4 years, she's really skyrocketed her career.
Yeah, she's done a fantastic job. So hopefully she comes back with more buzz, more momentum. She gets more movie roles if she does well. I'm not, I have no expectations really, but hopefully, good for her for ending up in a movie. I think that's pretty sick. Speaking of movies and shows, Nathaniel asked earlier on, Ahmed actually said, try to watch the trailer. I think he's talking about Karate Kid. I actually did see the Karate Kid trailer. I was at the movies and I saw the trailer. It looked fine. I was just never a big Karate Kid, kid growing up. But Nathaniel wanted to ask you, hey, RJ, have you seen Stranger Things?
Yes, I have. I made fun of Graham like 3 weeks ago because he couldn't remember the character's name.
I think it was here on the show that we discussed it. But no, Stranger Things is coming back for season 5 later this year. I'm sure you're pumped.
Can't wait.
They had in Vegas, they had this restaurant at MGM Grand, actually. It's called Netflix Bites. It's a new place where they have Netflix-themed food. And they had chicken and waffles. Reminded me of Endicott, because Endicott had great chicken and waffles. And it was upside down themed. So like they were like the waffles were on top and the chicken was on the bottom. It was Stranger Things, which I grew to become a fan of by the 4th season. Chicken and waffles, amazing combination. So the next time you're in Vegas, be sure to check that out.
I like how it took you to the 4th season to finally like the show.
The first season was good. The second and third, the second one especially was not good. Like Eleven's like siblings when she had like I know what you're talking about. It's that like 4 parts of the season or like whatever. Yeah. When she finally comes back, it gets better. I don't mind the third. The third season's the one with the mall, right? With the who? Oh, the mall. Yes, that is the mall.
Yeah,
season.
I think that one's not bad.
That was good. Yeah, and they introduced
the one thing I don't love, and obviously since they're kids, I don't love how like they start off they're like fucking infants and now they're like grown adults. I don't love that. There's nothing you can really do about it, but that'd be my one nitpick.
I mean, you could make the seasons a little bit quicker, to be fair. The last season came out 3 years ago. It's going to be 3.5 years by the time this comes out. Let's normalize shows coming out with new seasons every year again like it was when we were growing up. Not this waiting 3-4 years bullshit. I'll be fucking dead by the time the show finally ends. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I agree, though. I think the show, that 4th season I thought was really, really good. The Waller in theory is the slowest breakup in history. Fernando said, yeah, they teased tension again during the commercial on Raw on Monday. I'm like, dude, what are we even doing here? Like, can we just stop? Hollywood Trick Williams has a good ring to it. Millennial Noob says, yeah, they were teasing Hollywood Trick on Tuesday's NXT. So yeah, I guess we'll see where they go with it. I thought what he did on Tuesday was good though. Nathaniel asked us who we think beats Io for the Women's World Championship. I'm going to go Rhea because they're telling the story that Rhea's never beaten her. People aren't going to like that answer, but I think that's where they're going with it. Who do you think beats Io for the Women's World Championship?
Hopefully no time soon if it's Rhea. It's a great question.
They have a lot of options on Raw right now.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, so I'm trying to think who would it be. I don't want it to be Rhea. That sounds awful. I'm
sticking with Rhea. I know that's.
I want to say Giulia.
Giulia takes the Women's World Championship. Okay, that's a summer.
I don't want Rhea to take. That just sounds awful. So no for me.
I'm not saying it's what I would do, but I just think that might be the direction they go in because it makes sense. Grunt mentioned boo them into being a heel, which is what we were saying earlier, because he said that because that worked so well for Cena, it only took them 19 years to finally fucking boo the guy.
They should have done it well before that. So,
but to be fair, Vince was in charge at that point.
Exactly. No, I think Bianca should be a heel, but I know she likes swinging her hair and smiling and
doing the Make-A-Wish stuff
down to the ring like a fucking Easter bunny. I know.
You love Bianca. How dare you?
I love Bianca, but like turn heel. She was a great heel.
She is a great heel. In NXT, she was undefeated. She was undefeated in NXT. She had the whole thing going on. So hopefully she can bring that to the main roster at some point. Maria said Roxanne's going to crush it on the main roster. I mean, don't tell this guy that. He completely agrees. Roxanne, star, she's great. So give her the championship at some point. But, yeah, so we'll get going here with other stuff from the Raw roster, from the Raw review, rather, on Monday. We mentioned a little bit earlier, Logan Paul and Jey Uso, clearly the next program for the World Heavyweight Championship. They did not announce the match on Monday night. That is worth mentioning. They did not make it official. They could be setting this up for Money in the Bank. But honestly, I think it's perfect for Backlash. You can get it out of the way, do it on a 2-week build. Logan Paul just won at WrestleMania. Jey Uso needs a notable name to beat in his first defense as World Heavyweight Champion. I know people, are, not high on Jey as world champion. They fucking hate Logan Paul. But honestly, I think this works exceptionally well. I mean, Jey Uso is beloved. Logan Paul is hated, beyond hated. I think the match could be fun if the crowd's really into it. And it's a quick match that we can get over with that we don't need a 6-month build to. So honestly, I think this is a very good idea for Backlash, even if for Money in the Bank. But I feel like that's a month away. That's a little bit too long. But I think this is the perfect programming now for Jey Uso, and we're probably in the minority of people who believe that.
No, I think this is where it needs to go. Is it the greatest thing of all time? No, but I think logically, he just won at Mania. He should fight for the belt. I mean, he said that going to the Elimination Chamber. His goal is to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. He beat AJ at WrestleMania. Now he's going after Jey. I mean, if they don't do Backlash, they could always do Saturday night's main event. It's the 24th.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they want to get more exposure on that. It's on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's on NBC. Logan Paul, big championship match regardless. But, yeah, I mean, I would probably hold off on Backlash, but I would probably do it at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, it's that same weekend, Memorial Day weekend, same weekend as Double or Nothing. They have NXT Battleground that weekend. They could totally do it on that show. It's before Money in the Bank, and it's after Backlash, so you're probably right on that. I didn't even think about that. Maria said earlier, everyone also said Sasha Banks was going to be a movie star because she was in The Mandalorian. How did that turn out? I'll tell you right now, and I've said this before, I watched the movie that she did, the one movie that she was cast in, and it was fucking terrible. And not only did the movie suck, she was not good either. And I've seen The Mandalorian. She was fine in The Mandalorian, but she wasn't like a leading star. She wasn't the lead in this movie either, but she had a more significant role, and she was terrible. And coincidentally enough, she hasn't been in a movie since. So what does that tell you?
She's not a good actress.
Hopefully Liv Morgan's a better actor than Sasha Banks, but I don't know. I guess time will tell. But anyway, Jess mentioned most likely going to be Rhea. They push her to infinity just like everyone else. It was insanely over. Yeah, I mean, Rhea doesn't need to be champion. So that's really, that's the bottom line as to why she shouldn't win. But I just feel like that's probably where they're going with it. And Grunt also said, in response to what you said earlier, Using your hair as a whip is a total heel thing to do. But she's been doing it for 5 years now. That's the thing. Like, it's a heel thing to do, but she's been doing it as a babyface for 5 years, specifically at WrestleMania. So when that turn happens and she embraces the hate, maybe instead of feuding with Naomi, she goes after Jade Cargill instead. I think that'll be good. Naomi's been a great heel so far, by the way. I think she's done great work as a heel. So if Bianca can kind of channel that inner heel that we know that she has in her, I think it's off to the races from there. So on the subject of Backlash, Logan and Jey is not official, but they might do it on that show or at Saturday night's main event, like you said. Probably not, because I don't think they need 2 top world title matches on that Backlash show. They could. They did last year. But they could easily just do one world championship match and then save the other one for Saturday night's main event, like RJ said. Because they have now made official John Cena and Randy Orton. And I'm not saying we called this, but I mean, everyone called it, so it's not exactly a bold opinion. But it's now official for Backlash. Obviously got to be the main event in St. Louis, Orton's hometown, for the undisputed WWE Championship. Again, a lot like Jey and Logan. I'm not saying the match is going to be great. I will be the first one to tell you, and I grew up in the era of Cena versus Orton. Those matches were fucking boring. They were not great matches. A majority of them were not great matches. But I do think nostalgia will sell this match for a lot of people, and especially with the roles being reversed, I think this is the perfect first title defense for John Cena at Backlash. And I think if they can kind of tap into their history and some promos on SmackDown and video packages, I think this sells itself. For a 3-week build, I think this is perfect. So your thoughts on what you saw from these two on SmackDown, Mr. Marceau, and your thoughts on the match in general?
Yeah, like you said, were they the greatest matches ever? No, but Orton in St. Louis, nostalgia, I think it'll be fine. I mean, I hope we don't get like another like shit finish.
Oh,
and people
God,
are like,
no,
oh,
yeah.
well, Cena's going to be like, they're shitting on wrestling. Like, I hope that's not the direction we go in, but who knows? I mean, Cena's been laid out like a fucking fool every time, so you can only imagine the finish of this match is going to be, but I'll be optimistic, but I'm fine with this being the Backlash main event.
I'm in the same seat. I'm cautiously optimistic because I do feel like the finish is going to be fucking terrible. Like I feel like they could do a situation where Cena gets himself DQ'd, or I don't think Travis Scott's working Backlash, pal, but like I feel like it'll be something ridiculous. Whereas he could just beat him clean, and Orton's obviously fine. I am a little worried with what the finish is going to look like. But again, if the crowd's really hating Cena like they did, hated Cena in Money in the Bank in 2011 in Chicago, or One Night Stand in 2006 in New York City, then I feel like this could be a really fun match. Jess had mentioned they want Randy to screw Cena. I don't think Cena should be losing the belt within a month. I feel like that'd be a little premature, right?
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. Insert the Cena versus Orton too many Cox Botchamania bit here. I can't say I'm familiar with that grunt from Botchamania. It should be an I Quit match. No, I think it's fine as a regular match. They already had their I Quit match, 15 years ago. They had Hell in the Cell matches, Iron Man, TLC. They've done it all. And Grunt said, actually, this is a great question. He didn't ask a question, but I have a question stemming from his comment. He said the best Cena and Orton match was the first one at SummerSlam 2007. It's been all downhill from there. I don't agree with that because I do feel like they had a better match after that. But my question for you, Mr. Marceau, is what is your favorite / best Cena versus Orton match that you can remember?
It's a great question. I hate how you put me on the spot because I can't
That's why I'm answering after you.
Photographic memory like you do. It's a great question.
They've had so many. I know they all blend together.
I was say they've had so many matches together. I honestly can't even pick one. Honestly,
I'm thinking you might agree with this one. Just to help you out a little bit here, my favorite Cena Orton match is Bragging Rights 09, the Iron Man match. I think that was the best match they had. They also had Hell in the Cell matches. I Quit.
so they had an I Quit. I see here.
They had a TLC match at TLC 2013. That was not great. Rumble 2014, they had a match. A lot of them just blend together. You can also, honestly, I'm talking singles matches, but if you think of a triple threat or a four-way, like they had a triple threat with Triple H at Mania 24, that was also a really good match, to be fair.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I saw that on there as a triple threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like you said, they've had so many matches. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say they've all been classics because they're not. But they had some decent ones, some lousy ones, and they had that one great Iron Man match. I will give them credit for that. But anyway, so Cena and Orton's also official for Backlash. We mentioned Lyra, Valkyria, and Becky Lynch. Another polarizing addition to this card, and everyone that has talked about it on the streams that have done since last week has been shitting on it. I am the only one that is like praising the idea here. Gunther and Pat McAfee is official for Backlash. I need to know where you stand on this, Mr. Marceau. My logic is that I feel like this is the perfect use of Gunther right now, because I know he just lost the World Heavyweight Championship. Is going from the world title to Pat McAfee a demotion? Yes, but unless he was going back after the belt, which he wasn't going to win back immediately anyway, anything would be a demotion, first of all. Second of all, Pat McAfee is very over, and so it's going to mean something for him to beat him, or fucking beat him up, or squash him, or whatever. I feel like this is fine. Aside from Gunther disappearing for a while, I feel like this is the perfect use for Gunther, just to beat the shit out of Pat McAfee. And the match could honestly surprise a lot of people in terms of how fun it could be. I'm not saying it's going to be a 5-star classic, but I like the idea of this match. So where do you stand on it?
Yeah, I don't hate the match at all. I think a lot of people just don't like Pat McAfee, so they're instantly like, I hate this match. This is stupid. Gunther, da. But I mean, I think it's good. I mean, I don't have any issues with it. I know Pat usually goes away once college football starts. It's a decent amount of time away. It's not like I think he's going to be gone forever or gone for a decent amount of time. But like you said, I think McAfee's good enough in the ring. He could probably get some spots, get the clips that they want, him doing like the jump up on the top rope and a couple spots for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Gunther just kills him and we move on.
Yeah, I think it's a totally fine use of Gunther, and he can pick up a win here because, again, there's not many options for people that he could face and then, beat. Like AJ Styles, I don't think they should be doing Gunther and AJ right now. AJ just lost to WrestleMania. I think AJ should start winning matches soon. I don't really want him losing to Gunther, although I do want that match at some point. I mean, Jess had mentioned Cody and Gunther makes more sense than this garbage. But again, you're not thinking, though. There's no forethought there. If you do Cody and Gunther, which we just saw, by the way, a couple of months ago at Crown Jewel, which Cody fucking won, by the way, is Cody going to lose again? I mean, he could. You could do Cody and Gunther, but I think Cody benefits from disappearing for a while. He wasn't on Raw or SmackDown in the last couple of weeks. Since we saw him lose the championship, we have not seen Cody Rhodes. I think it's best for Cody Rhodes to go away for a while. So therefore, Cody and Gunther is not an option. Anyone that you suggest that Gunther should have faced instead, I will probably poo-poo on because it's not the right time for it.
I think this is, like you said, it's a first good feud after Mania. Yeah, it's a demotion in a sense, like he's not doing anything, but like there is a story there. Like he's mad that they're talking shit about him losing, that he tapped out. They did the whole you tapped out thing. Goes after Cole. Matt McAfee steps up for him. I mean, I feel like, how does this not make sense? Like people are like, this is terrible. It makes no sense. Like, how does it not make sense?
I mean, Pat McAfee has been the biggest Jey Uso cheerleader for how long now? And he's been on the table going like this, and Gunther's like threatened going after him. This has been like many months in the making. And again, if you don't like Pat McAfee, that's totally fine. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, he should be fucking world champion. Like, I'm not saying that, or this should main event the show. Pat McAfee has proven, and it's been a few years, I get it, but he has proven that he's done some stuff in the ring that has been quality shit. He had a great fucking, which I thought was terrible at the time, like going into it. When I'm thinking they're doing him and Adam Cole, who gives a shit? I mean, who gives a fuck about this? And then he went in there and had an awesome fucking match with Adam Cole. Then he was in War Games at one point. He had a match at Mania with Theory, which was good. The Corbin match was fine. I mean, he's had some, like a track record of having some decent matches. I don't know. I mean, becoming a dad now, I don't know if he's in the same shape that he was a few years ago, but he can go in there and get squashed. It's an easy win for Gunther, and then whoever saves Pat McAfee, that can be Gunther's next feud going forward after that. I just feel like it just makes sense. And Gunther, let's just put it this way, Gunther will be fine. It's okay. Like, he's not fucking buried. People think that he's getting buried because he's working with, I don't know, one of the most over people in the entire company that's not a wrestler. I mean, come on. I just feel like it makes sense.
I mean, more people can name Pat McAfee than they can probably name any other wrestler in the company, so.
I mean, the thing is, too, and again, I'm not discrediting the internet because I am part of said internet, but, like, it's like Jey Uso. There's so many people on social media that fucking hate Jey and the fact that he's world champion. But you go to any of these shows, he's the most over guy on the show. You go to any show, Pat McAfee gets unanimously cheered every single time. That angle they did on Raw last week was awesome. I just feel like I get why people don't like it, again, because it's a waste of Gunther. Pat McAfee's trash. You hate his commentary. Okay, if you hate him, don't you want to see him get the shit kicked out of him then? I just feel like it makes, even from that standpoint.
No, I agree. No, I get it.
I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. Daniel said Cena is washed in ring-wise. Yes, he is, and he has been for quite some time now. That was pretty evident at WrestleMania. I am very worried about the Cena championship run. I think him winning the belt was the right call, but like his matches do worry me because he's not the same Cena of even 7 years ago. So I'm kind of worried about that. Johnny, that's where I draw the line. Jey Uso
Yeah, I
versus
saw his comment. Jey Uso for Pat. No, thank you.
I'm not going to say that.
That's when you should jump the shark at that point.
You jumped the shark at that point. Johnny also had a good question. Do you wish Cena and Edge could have had one more match? I said yes.
They're both washed. No, thank you.
Even if Edge was still there in 2025 in WWE?
He was washed before he left.
Alexis, also no fan of Cena's heel turn. She said, honestly, Cena's heel run has sucked so far. Mr. Marceau and Alexis, once again on the same page. He agrees, nodding his head. It's been a little bit... I think it's been good, but it could be so much better. When he's out there going like, I hate you people, like that's so forced. I feel like he's doing a parody of what he thinks a heel should be. When he gets serious and he's not like speaking like this, like he's in a fucking DC movie or something, I feel like it's better, in my opinion. And the matches also need to improve because that Mania match wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible, but he needs to do a better job with that for sure. Grunt said, anything but a squash would be an insult, in my opinion. Gunther going 50-50 with a part-time commentator is inexcusable. Do I think they should go 50-50? No. But I do think they can have a match, and Pat McAfee fights back, or he's resilient. If the match is over in 3 minutes, cool. But if it's over in 10 minutes because Gunther's taking his time beating the fuck out of him, and then Pat McAfee gets a couple hope spots in, and then Gunther squashes him anyway, that would also be an acceptable way to go, where I feel like that could make sense as well.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, I think you kind of have to hit those spots that McAfee's good at. Like you said, like when he does like the leap to the top rope and does like the flip off, or he has to get some, like you said, some hope spots, a little shine. I mean, yeah. He's not just going to go in there and get killed in a minute and we're going to move on.
I mean, you could.
He should get at least some hope spots. Like I said, some spots to like show a little bit, but like, I mean, Gunther just killing him in a minute, I'd be like, that's just a waste of time.
Daniel said,
what are you laughing at, buddy?
Daniel just said, Adam Balea is also washed.
Hollywood Adam Balea is washed. Stinks.
Adam Balea doesn't have the same ring to it, though. We got to come up with something else, Daniel. You can do better than that. That is funny, but we can do better than Adam Balea. Adam... I don't know. Who's another, like, someone that used to bury? I mean, it's primarily Hogan, but I'm trying to think. I don't know. I feel like we can come up with I don't know. Adam Balea is fucking funny, though, and I agree with Alexis. He should just be himself and do heelish things. But as far as... Adam Levesque, I could see that. Okay, we're working here, work in progress. Let us know in the chat if you have a better idea than Adam Levesque or Adam Balea. I like that. That doesn't work for him, eh? Because he's Canadian, not brother. You know, I don't know. That is stupid. Last thing I want to bring up here. We had two returning faces in the last week that we didn't really delve into last week. One of them, which hadn't been back yet. Cope is a stupid name. I agree, Daniel. It's a very dumb name. Two people that came back within the last week that are worth mentioning. Rusev returned on the Raw after WrestleMania. It is Rusev Day once again. And Aleister Black is once again back on SmackDown. And not only is he back, I wish I could have filmed our reaction. We watched the show on Friday. Alexis is huge on the music. Huge. She was very upset on Monday when Rollins did not come out with new music. I was bothered by it, but it's like, okay, give it some time. Let's see what happens. She was extremely excited, as I was, when Aleister Black came out on SmackDown with the same theme, slightly different. Like the chords were a little bit off. I think it had to be different, though, because it was a CFO song. I think they re-recorded it. But anyway, great moment with him knocking out The Miz. Rusev also back on Raw. Two great returns. We don't know immediately where they're doing or what they're doing or where they're going from here. Rusev, we heard in a promo on Raw this week, and he made a comment about the Redeemer, about like being here to redeem. So he could be doing the Redeemer gimmick going forward. He will be facing Otis on next week's show. Aleister Black is battling The Miz on SmackDown this Friday. So they got great reactions in the returns. I would like to think they'll be better off than they were before they left WWE 5 years ago. I mean, how could it be any worse, considering that they were being fucking jobbed out most weeks and they were jokes? I can't imagine it could be worse. But what would you do with Rusev and Aleister Black now that they're back on Raw and SmackDown, respectively?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what you do. I mean, I think they're both, so far, I think they're both, their debuts are good. it's tough because like with Rusev and Black, they're both heels.
I think Black's going to be a babyface.
Well, that's true. I guess Black, but so I guess you could eventually get to him and Fought too somewhere down the line. With Rusev, I mean, Dom's champion now. I mean, I guess you do him and Jey maybe, but like, do you want to beat him that soon? But I mean, I think I would put more stock on Black if I was putting my chips in one. If I was pushing them in one direction, I'd probably just push them towards Black. I do like Rusev, but I don't know. To me, I just feel damaged goods. At least with Black, like I think he had a good run. It just kind of like got like a little ruined at the end with Vince and everything. But I think Triple H sees a lot more with Black. I mean, we saw that in NXT. I feel like he was one of Triple H's first like big guys that they pushed. So
yeah,
I'd push him in my chips with Black. Rusev maybe released in a year or two, but I'm pushing all in on Black.
I think Rusev reportedly signed a 2-year deal. I think he's just going to be a mid-card guy. I could see him being fed to Jey Uso. I could see that. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I could see him losing to Jey Uso in a World Heavyweight title match on a pay-per-view or a Saturday Night's main event or something in the next couple of months. I don't see Rusev becoming a main eventer. I feel like the time for that passed 5-10 years ago. I like Rusev a lot, and I'm glad he's back. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen. Although if he's doing the Redeemer thing, I think that's a better fit for him than going back to, Rusev Day, and then like whatever. Like that would be very short-lived. Grunt said Rusev's going to be on speed in 6 months. Come on, Grunt. Don't be ridiculous. He'll be on speed. He'll be on speed in 3 months. Come on. 6 months is too long. Andrade is the fucking speed champion, or he was, or something. I don't know. Anyway,
that whole thing just stupid. Not even acknowledge that.
What, speed? It's a dumb concept. It's Elon Musk wanted the show for X, and they're getting paid a lot of money for it. They're getting paid millions of bucks for a fucking 3-minute show every Wednesday. I don't watch it. I don't watch that shit. I watch almost everything. I don't watch that garbage. No thanks. Johnny had said Black and Rusev finally got off of the bench because he mentioned earlier bench is like the new buzzword for WWE. Oh yeah, we don't bench people after we sign them. All right, great. We'll see. You just signed Penta, Phoenix, Ricky Saints. These guys, Rusev and Black, we'll see if they stay off the bench. If they're on the bench in a couple months, like Andrade is kind of, among other people, then, then we'll talk. Nick Khan. But Grunt said the trios match with the Death Riders was decent, talking about the Cope match at Dynasty. But yeah, he should have a brief tag run with Christian and then call it a career. I think he even said that recently, where every time he has a match now, he's like in pain for like a week. I'm like, well, then you probably shouldn't be wrestling if you're like 52 years old. But I love Edge. But it's about time to wrap it up. I'm kind of surprised he signed with AEW for 3 years. I think a year-long deal would have made a little bit more sense. Johnny said Vince was in charge then. They will be used way better this time around. Hopefully Black's not still feuding with fucking The Miz in 6 months. That's all we can hope for. Johnny, nice question here. Is Paul Heyman the best manager of all time? I mean, it's either him or Mr. Marceau saying no. I was going to say either him or Bobby Heenan.
All day.
What'd you say?
Cornette.
He's a Cornette guy. I was going to say Bobby Heenan.
Paul Heyman's probably the best.
Okay. Cornette's in that conversation, though.
I mean, the last 20 years, it's easily Heyman. That's not even a question.
Yeah.
But
I'd say Heenan's up there as well. Heenan was number one, but he might be being.
Yeah, but Heenan's way before my time.
Yeah, no, I know he was before my time too. But I mean, he just managed a lot of people. He had a regular presence on the show, but it is neck and neck for sure. As a Black man, hearing y'all repeat Black is hilarious. Daniel said, "Yeah, I mean, he's Aleister Malachi, whatever you want to call him. He still has the same surname. So." And I want to see a slow title because there's a speed championship. That's stupid. We don't need more titles, Johnny. We need less championships. We need less titles, not more titles. But anyway, Bobby Heenan or Jimmy Hart? I'm going Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan.
Love Jimmy Hart. Met him a couple times. Good guy. But I got to go Bobby Heenan. He's definitely the better manager in my opinion. But I think that's it. Mr. Marceau, anything else come to mind from the last week in the world of wrestling that we did not touch upon or discuss here?
I'll give a little slow clap for Zelina Vega winning the U.S. title.
I agree. That was a nice moment. I was like, oh, okay. Not like a great match or like, she's not super over or anything, but I thought it was a nice moment with Zelina Vega becoming champion. Good for her.
Yep. A little slow golf clap for Zelina.
I'm worried about the aftermath.
Give her a little rose. No flowers. Just a little rose from Mr.
No flowers, just a rose. Listen, I'm worried about the aftermath on that. She could easily disappear from the show or just have this very abysmal run. But I like Zelina Vega a lot. She has improved, and she deserves that. Listen, everyone gets a championship at some point, I think, and it was a nice moment for her. I did not see that coming. I just figured Chelsea Green would retain on Friday. So I agree. Nice golf clap for Zelina Vega. Just the rose, no flowers, though.
No rose, just the rose. I'm not giving out flowers yet.
Adam Rose?
Dead to me.
Grunt said Bobby just for his work in primetime wrestling with Gorilla alone. For legitimately, at first glance, I thought he said Bobby just for his work with the primetime players. They're still in my mind. Millions of dollars.
Abraham Washington.
Oh my God. What was that line that he spewed on Raw that got him canceled? That was like, you talk about cancellations, he got fucking canceled and then he never worked again after.
It was like Titus O'Neil's like Kobe Bryant in like a hotel in Colorado. He's unstoppable.
That's so,
referring to Kobe's like rape allegation.
That is fucking awful. I can't believe like I was gonna say he got away with it. He didn't get away with it. He got like fired like right after that. That shit was crazy. Grunt, yeah, glad I came with a Veer gif. Yeah, thank you, Grunt, for joining again and becoming a member. Great to see you in the chat as always. Fernando said, it's too bad Cope is in AEW. Edge versus Cena one more time would have been excellent. Excellent, I'm not sure. One more time for nostalgia's sake would have been fun, but also, what more can you do with Edge? He feuded with a lot of people during his last run. Him leaving for AEW, I love Edge in WWE, but that was probably for the best. I mean, he's been able to work with Christian again and do the tag team stuff. The terrible feud with John Moxley aside, but, I've enjoyed his run overall. So. And I thought Dynamite last night was good. I don't talk a lot about AEW here just because there's not a whole lot to talk about, but when Double or Nothing comes up in a few weeks, I'll talk more about Double or Nothing. But I thought Dynamite last night was good, last week was good, and 2 weeks ago was also very good. Daniel said I'm a Zelina guy. But Johnny also said, do you want Cedric Alexander in AEW? That'd be cool, but like to do what? Joining, is that Donald Trump in the chat? What the fuck?
That's Bill Clinton.
Is that Bill? No, I think that's Trump.
No, that's Bill Clinton.
I don't know.
Maybe it's Donnie.
I think it's Donnie. I think it's the Prez. Getting political here on on the show. American lover indeed. Cedric Alexander in AEW, I could say, joining the Hurt Syndicate.
Wasted. Don't even bother.
Come on.
Damaged goods. No, thank you.
Damaged goods. Thoughts on Thekla? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I know who you're talking about. Coming to AEW. I honestly do not know anything about her beyond. She's from one of the Japanese women's wrestling promotions.
Mina Shirakawa?
Nah, she's good. I like Mina a lot. She's great. She's going to AEW. Mariah May though.
You never. I was gonna say you never. I want an apology. I'm waiting for it.
The press is here in the chat, by the way. He said, yes, it's me, Daddy Donald.
I want, if Mariah May goes to WWE, I expect at least a 30-minute apology from GSM.
I will say this now. If the reports are true and Mariah May is WWE bound, Mr. Marceau is right. No,
I'm right. You're like, no way.
Yeah, there was no way.
No way. Never going to happen. So I want an apology.
When she shows up, or if she shows up. That's what I said.
When she shows up, I expect a 30-minute apology.
Okay. All right. 30 minutes. I'll have to time it. So that's coming soon. That's about it. And Alexis also mentioned Love Ziggler shirt design incoming, by the way. That is coming, by the way, for those interested. Tyreek popped up in the chat yesterday when I went live. So keep an eye out for Tyreek. He says hi and Love Ziggler nickname. You're still working on yours, right? I'm still working on mine.
I'm still working on mine, yeah.
Keep an eye out for that. Didn't Big Show say a similar line to AW years ago? What did Big Show say? Did he make a comment on SmackDown? I don't know what they're talking about in the chat here. But yeah, Big Show may have made a comment on WWE a long time ago. And whose bench is worse, WWE or AEW's? I think AEW has benched more people recently, but WWE's also benched a fair amount of people.
Not a bench when they go to do the coconut loop. I mean, come on, people.
Come on. Natalya re-signed just to sit at home and work the NWA shows. I mean, come on.
Maybe she's working the local house shows. Who knows?
Not too sure about that. It's pretty even, I would say, Johnny. It's pretty even. So we'll get out of here before this goes even further off the rails based on what's going on in the chat right now. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate anyone that tuned in previously or after the fact, live now. We appreciate you. Be sure to like the video on your way out and subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified every single time we go live here on the channel and every single time new content is uploaded. You can also consider becoming a channel member as Grunt did today here on the show. If you become a channel member during the live streams, you get whole notification and people get notified. It's cool. But you get top billing on these shows, WrestleRant Radio and hashtag AskGSM. Shout outs at the beginning and end of every single live stream that we do here on the channel. Discord access, badges, and emojis in the live chats, members only live streams, early and ad-free access to certain videos, and so much more. $5 a month, WrestleRant All Access Pass. More info in the description box. And shout out to said channel members: Alexis, Miss Maud Matthews, Delta Giacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Daniel Malcolm, who you see here in the chat now, at I'm Quarter on X, Mr. Marceau himself, find him on the Twitter machine, at RJ_Marceau. I'll look at the chat in a second, at RJ_Marceau, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube, and Richie, Red Planet Wrestling, and Grunt, new channel member as well. Follow him on the Twitter machine at The Average Grunt. All right, what the fuck's going on in the chat?
He was saying the Big Show line. It was when he did the wrap up with John Cena, said, "In my world, you're the white girl and I'm Kobe Bryant."
Oh my God, that is terrible.
That was a good line, but it's very
Was that what, in 2003 or something?
Yeah, 2003 when they did the rap battle with him and John Cena. Honestly, amazing line.
That is honestly awful. That is terrible. That is actually worse than what AEW did.
But hilarious line.
And he didn't get canceled for it. I guess the cancellation period came later on.
You didn't get canceled back then. I mean, you could say pretty much anything.
2012 was that was the limit. Anything post 2010, you get canceled, and probably rightfully so. That's pretty fucking terrible. I'm surprised Big Show hasn't been asked about that in an interview. That sounds like a Vince line. That totally sounds.
Line.
It's a good line for I'll tell you that much. That's about it, though. But anyway, Mr. Marceau, go recuperate from Disney. You literally left for Disney after I spoke with you last week, and then you just came back yesterday. You're sleepy. You're tired. Go rest and relax.
I'm trying.
He's trying. Well, I'm going to let him go and allow him to do that. New episodes every single week, WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com. Have an awesome one, folks. For Mr. Marceau, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. We'll catch you right back here on the show next week. Have an awesome one, folks. Take care.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.